7 strength exercises that can restore your independence after age 50. Would you agree that nowadays it would not be crazy to say that the modern world has quietly made us weaker? Think about it. We spend long hours sitting in soft chairs, scrolling on smartphones, or driving our cars. The result is clear. Our leg muscles shrink, our joints stiffen, and even standing up from a chair or climbing a few steps begins to feel like a challenge. Over time, this weakness does not just make daily activities harder. It directly increases the risk of falls, which remain one of the leading causes of injury and loss of independence among older adults worldwide. A recent study in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy revealed that people over 60 who practice just a few simple strength exercises twice a week improve their walking speed, balance, and overall quality of life by more than 30%. These are not complicated gym routines. They are gentle movements that you can do safely at home, even if you have not exercised in years. That is why today you will see 7 essential strength exercises. If you take just a few minutes to do them consistently, they will gradually rebuild your strength, protect your joints, and give you the confidence to move freely again. But before we begin, please leave in the comments your name and the city where you are watching from. After the age of 60, one of the clearest signs of declining muscle strength is the difficulty of standing up from a chair. A movement that once felt effortless now often requires pushing off with the arms, rocking the body forward, or even asking someone for help. This is more than just an inconvenience. It is a serious indicator of increased fall risk and the gradual loss of independence. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity followed adults over 60 and found that practicing the sit-to-stand exercise just a few times each week improved lower body strength by up to 40% and significantly reduced fall risk within only 3 months. The sit-to-stand exercise essentially mirrors a movement you already perform many times a day. When practiced with intention, however, it becomes a powerful way to build strength in the thighs, glutes, and core, while also reinforcing control and stability for walking, climbing stairs, or simply rising after a meal. To perform it effectively, sit on the edge of a sturdy chair with your feet hip-width apart and firmly planted on the floor. Lean your torso slightly forward, press your heels into the ground, and rise slowly using only the strength of your legs, keeping your gaze forward instead of down. Once standing tall, take a deep breath, then carefully lower your hips back down with control until seated again. Most people should begin with 5 to 8 repetitions per set, aiming for 2 to 3 sets with short rests in between. The slower the movement, the more benefit you will gain. So think of it as slow strength training, rather than rushing through the exercise. Over time, you can gradually increase the repetitions as your legs adapt. Common mistakes include pushing off with the arms instead of engaging the legs, dropping down too quickly, which overloads the knees and lower back, or looking down at the floor, which bends the neck and disrupts balance. If you are just starting or feel weakness in your knees, you can make the exercise easier by sitting on a slightly higher surface or placing a firm cushion on the chair. As you grow stronger, you can increase the challenge by holding a small water bottle against your chest for extra resistance, or by pausing for 1 to 2 seconds in the standing position before lowering back down to further engage the muscles. When practiced correctly and consistently, this simple movement requires only a few minutes each day, but can restore confidence, maintain leg strength, and most importantly, preserve independence well into life after 60. After the age of 60, many people notice that their knees begin to feel stiff or achy, especially when climbing stairs, getting out of a car, or bending down to pick something up. Much of this discomfort comes from weakness in the muscles around the knees and hips, which leaves the joints with less support. Mini squats are one of the safest and most effective ways to strengthen these areas without putting too much pressure on the joints. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Orthopedic Sports Physical Therapy found that older adults who practiced mini squats 3 times a week for 6 weeks improved quadriceps strength by more than 30% and reported significantly less knee pain during daily activities. The reason is simple. This exercise trains your thighs and glutes to work together, keeping your knees stable and your posture upright. To perform it correctly, stand behind a sturdy chair and rest your hands lightly on the backrest for balance. Place your feet hip-width apart and keep your back straight. Slowly bend your knees as if you were about to sit down, lowering yourself just a small amount, no more than 1/4 of the way until you feel your thighs working. Make sure your knees point forward and stay above your toes, never collapsing inward. Then push through your heels to gently return to standing while squeezing your glutes. Breathe steadily throughout the movement. Most beginners should aim for 5 to 10 repetitions, repeated for 2 to 3 sets with short rests in between. As you feel stronger, you can gradually increase the depth of the squat or the number of repetitions. Common mistakes include bending too deeply, which can overload the knees, letting the knees collapse inward, which strains the joints, or leaning too far forward, which shifts the effort onto the lower back instead of the legs. The key is control, not speed. Each repetition should be slow and deliberate. For an easier variation, place a sturdy chair behind you and squat only until you lightly touch it before returning to standing. For a greater challenge, try letting go of the chair and placing your hands on your hips, or pausing for 1 to 2 seconds at the bottom of each squat before rising. When practiced consistently, mini squats restore strength and stability to the muscles that protect your knees, making daily movement smoother, safer, and far less painful. After the age of 60, one of the first muscles to weaken without us noticing is the calf. These muscles in the lower leg act like a spring with every step, pushing the body forward and keeping balance steady. When they lose strength, simple activities like walking up a slope, climbing stairs, or even standing for long periods become tiring. More importantly, weak calves reduce circulation in the legs and increase the risk of stumbling, which is one of the leading causes of falls in older adults. A study published in the European Review of Aging and Physical Activity followed seniors who practiced calf raises several times a week. After just 8 weeks, participants improved lower leg strength by more than 30% and reported better stability when walking on uneven surfaces. This shows how such a small, controlled movement can have a profound impact on daily mobility and confidence. To perform the exercise, stand tall behind a sturdy chair and rest your hands lightly on the backrest for balance. Place your feet about hip-width apart. Then slowly lift both heels off the ground until you are standing on your toes. Hold for a brief moment, feeling the calves contract, before lowering your heels back down with control. Keep your body upright throughout the movement and focus on slow, steady repetitions rather than speed. For most people, starting with 10 repetitions for 2 to 3 sets is enough. Rest for a short moment between sets, and as the muscles adapt, gradually increase the number of repetitions or hold the top position for longer. Common mistakes include bouncing too quickly, which reduces the effectiveness and strains the joints, or leaning heavily on the chair so the arms take the load instead of the calves. Another frequent error is letting the ankles roll outward or inward, which can put pressure on the joints instead of evenly strengthening the muscles. The goal is smooth, controlled lifts where both feet share the effort equally. For an easier variation, perform the movement seated. Sit on a chair with your feet flat on the ground, then lift the heels up and down slowly. For a greater challenge, try single-leg calf raises, lifting one foot slightly off the floor and balancing on the other leg, or add a light weight like a backpack on your shoulders for extra resistance. When practiced consistently, calf raises strengthen the foundation of every step you take, improving circulation, balance, and overall stability, giving you the confidence to walk with energy and security long after 60. As we grow older, balance often becomes one of the first abilities to decline. After 60, many people notice that standing on one leg feels unsteady, or that stepping sideways to avoid an obstacle is harder than it used to be. Much of this comes from weak hip muscles, especially the abductors, the muscles on the outside of the hips and thighs that stabilize the pelvis with every step. Without their support, walking becomes less secure, and the risk of stumbling or falling increases dramatically. The sideways leg lift is a simple yet powerful way to strengthen these often neglected muscles. A study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that older adults who performed hip abduction exercises 3 times a week improved their lateral balance by 28% within 2 months, making it easier to step sideways, climb stairs, and recover from small slips. To perform this movement, stand tall behind a sturdy chair and place your hands lightly on the backrest for balance. Keep your feet hip-width apart and your posture upright. Slowly lift one leg out to the side, keeping the knee straight and the toes pointing forward. Do not tilt your body to the opposite side. The lift should come entirely from the hip muscles. Raise the leg only as high as is comfortable. Pause briefly, then lower it back down with control. Switch sides and repeat with the other leg. Most beginners should start with 5 to 8 repetitions per leg, repeated for 2 to 3 sets. As strength improves, you can gradually increase the number of repetitions or hold the raised position for 2 to 3 seconds before lowering. Common mistakes include leaning the torso to the opposite side, which reduces the work of the hip muscles, or rotating the foot outward, which shifts the effort away from the target area. Another frequent error is moving too quickly and letting momentum carry the leg up and down rather than using controlled muscle strength. For an easier variation, you can reduce the range of motion by lifting the leg only a few inches. For a greater challenge, try attaching a light resistance band around your ankles or using ankle weights to increase the load. When practiced regularly, sideways leg lifts build the hip strength needed to stay stable, protect against falls, and make everyday movements, from stepping off a curb to getting out of bed, feel safer and more confident after 60. After 60, many people begin to feel stiffness or weakness in the back of the thighs and hips. This often shows up when trying to walk longer distances, climb stairs, or stand upright for more than a few minutes. The reason is that the gluteal muscles and hamstrings gradually weaken, leaving the lower back and knees to absorb more strain. Weakness in these muscles does not just make movement harder, it also contributes to poor posture and chronic back pain. The leg extension exercise, sometimes called a hip extension, directly targets these key muscles. Strengthening them provides support for the spine, relieves pressure on the knees, and improves walking endurance. A study in the Journal of Applied Gerontology found that older adults who practice simple hip extension exercises 3 times per week improved glute strength by 32% and reported less lower back discomfort within 2 months. To perform it, stand behind a sturdy chair and place your hands lightly on the backrest for balance. Keep your posture tall, shoulders relaxed, and core gently engaged. Slowly extend one leg straight back without bending the knee and without arching your lower back. Focus on moving from the hip joint rather than swinging the leg. Hold the position for 2 to 5 seconds, feeling the muscles in the back of your thigh and glutes working. Then return the leg to the starting position with control. Switch sides and repeat with the other leg. Most beginners should start with 5 repetitions per leg, holding each lift briefly, and complete 2 to 3 sets. Over time, you can increase the number of repetitions or extend the hold to 5 or even 10 seconds to build greater endurance. Common mistakes include arching the lower back to try to lift the leg higher, which shifts the strain away from the hips and onto the spine. Another error is bending the knee, which reduces the activation of the glutes and hamstrings. It is also important to avoid leaning too far forward. The torso should stay upright, with only the leg moving. For an easier variation, you can perform the exercise with a smaller range of motion, lifting the leg only slightly. For a greater challenge, try using a resistance band looped around your ankles or place a small ankle weight on the lifting leg. When performed consistently, leg extensions restore power to the muscles that keep you standing tall, walking strong, and moving with confidence, an essential foundation for maintaining independence after 60. As we age past 60, upper body strength often declines faster than we expect. Everyday tasks such as pushing open a heavy door, lifting a bag of groceries, or supporting ourselves when getting up from the floor become more difficult. Weakness in the chest, shoulders, and arms not only reduces independence, but also affects posture, often leading to rounded shoulders and back discomfort. The wall press-up is a safe and effective way to rebuild this strength without the strain of floor push-ups. It works the chest, shoulders, triceps, and even engages the core to support proper alignment. A study published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science observed older adults who incorporated wall push-ups into their weekly routine and found significant improvements in upper body strength and endurance within 6 weeks, along with better posture control. To perform it, stand about an arm's length away from a wall. Place your hands flat on the wall at chest height, fingers pointing upward, with your feet shoulder-width apart. Keeping your body straight from head to heel, slowly bend your elbows and lean your chest toward the wall as you inhale. Pause briefly when your face is close to the wall, then exhale as you push yourself back to the starting position, straightening your arms without locking the elbows. Most beginners can start with 5 to 10 repetitions, aiming for 2 to 3 sets. As your strength improves, you can gradually increase the repetitions or step your feet slightly farther from the wall to add resistance. Common mistakes include letting the hips sag or arching the back, which reduces core engagement, or placing the hands too high or too low, which strains the shoulders. Another frequent error is rushing through the movement instead of keeping it slow and controlled. For an easier variation, move closer to the wall or keep your feet wider apart. To make it more challenging, step back farther or perform the movement on your fingertips or against a sturdy countertop instead of a wall. With consistent practice, wall press-ups restore essential pushing strength, improve posture, and give you the confidence to handle daily activities with less effort and more control well into your 60s and beyond. After 60, it is common to notice a gradual loss of arm strength. Tasks that once seemed simple, like carrying grocery bags, lifting a kettle, or opening a jar, begin to feel heavier than they used to. This is partly due to natural muscle loss with age, but also because many daily routines no longer challenge the arms in meaningful ways. Weak arms limit independence, making even light household chores more tiring. Biceps curls are one of the simplest and most effective ways to restore strength to the arms. They directly target the biceps, the muscles in the front of the upper arm, which play a key role in lifting and carrying. A study in the Journal of Aging and Health found that older adults who regularly performed resistance exercises for the arms, including biceps curls, improved grip strength and daily task performance by nearly 25% in just 2 months. Stronger arms are not only practical, they also help stabilize the shoulders and support good posture. To perform this exercise, stand tall with your feet hip-width apart and hold a light weight in each hand. Water bottles work just as well as dumbbells. Let your arms hang naturally at your sides with your palms facing forward. Keeping your elbows close to your body, slowly bend your arms, lifting the weights toward your shoulders as you exhale. Pause briefly at the top, then inhale as you lower the weights back down with control. The key is steady, deliberate movement rather than swinging the arms. This exercise can also be performed seated if standing feels unsteady. Most people should start with 5 repetitions per arm, repeating for 2 to 3 sets. As your strength improves, you can gradually increase to 10 or 12 repetitions per set. The goal is not heavy lifting, but consistent, controlled effort that builds endurance over time. Common mistakes include swinging the arms or using the back to help lift, which reduces the work of the biceps and can cause strain. Another frequent error is letting the elbows drift away from the body instead of keeping them tucked in. Moving too quickly also reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. For an easier variation, use no weights at all and simply practice the curling motion. For a greater challenge, increase the weight slightly or hold the curl for 2 to 3 seconds at the top before lowering. When performed regularly, biceps curls make everyday lifting tasks smoother and safer, giving you the arm strength needed to maintain independence and confidence well beyond 60. If you have followed along, you have now completed 7 of the most essential strength exercises for life after 60. Each of them may look simple, but together they target every part of your body, from the thighs and hips that keep you steady on your feet, to the calves that support every step, and the arms and chest that help you lift, carry, and push with confidence. The secret is consistency. Just a few minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, can rebuild strength, protect your joints, and give you the independence to move freely in your daily life. Remember, it is never too late to start. Small, steady steps will bring big changes over time. If you found this video helpful, let us know by leaving a comment with your name and the city you are watching from. Share it with a friend or loved one who could benefit from these exercises, and do not forget to subscribe so you never miss our next video designed to keep you strong, mobile, and independent after 60. Thank you for watching. Take care of your health, and may you continue to move with strength and confidence every day.